Good morning. My name is Helga, and I will help you get more and deeper understanding about the music culture in the United States. Let's find out about my channels by subscribing to mine. Let's get started. Blues and spirituals music. Spirituals were primarily expressions of religious faith sung by slaves on southern plantations. In the mid to late 19th century, spirituals spread out to the U.S. South. In the 1871, Fisk University becomes home to the Fisk Jubilee Singers, a pioneering group that popularized spirituals across the country and imitations in this group. Gospel quartets arose, followed by increasing diversification with the early 20th century, rise of jacklets and singing preachers from oneness and came a popular style of gospel music. Blues is a combination of African word songs, filled holler and shout. It developed in the rural South in the first decades of the 20th century. The most important characteristics of blues is its use of blues scale with a flatted or indeterminate third, as well as the typical lamenting lyrics. Where both of these elements had existed in the African American folk music prior to the 20th century, the codified form of modern blues, such as the AAB structure, did not exist until the early 20th century. Let's talk more about the spirituals. Uh, Spirituals, also known as the Negro spirituals, African American spirituals, Black spirituals, and spirituals music, is a genre of Christian music that is associated with the Black Americans, which merge Sub-Saharan American, Saharan African cultural heritage with the experience of being held in bondage and slavery. At first, during the transatlantic slave trade, and for a century afterwards, through the domestic slave trade, spirituals encompassed the sing songs, work songs, and plantation songs that evolved into the blues and gospel songs in church. In the 19th century, the word spirituals refer to all these subcategories of folk songs. While they were often rooted in biblical story, they also describe the extreme hardships endured by African Americans who were enslaved from the 17th century until the 1860s. The emancipation utterings mainly the nature, but not continuations, of slavery for many new derivatives music genres emerged from the spiritual songcraft. Prior to the end of the U.S. Civil War and emancipation, spirituals were originally an oral tradition passes from one slave generation to the next. Biblical story were memorized and translated into song. Following emancipation, the lyrics of spirituals were published in printed form. Examples such as the Fisk Jubilee Singers, established in 1871, popularized spirituals, bringing them to the wider, even international audience. At first, major recording studios were only recording white musicians performing spirituals and their derivatives that chained the Mammy Smith commercial success in 1920. Starting in the 1920s, the commercial recordings industry increased the audience for the spirituals and their derivatives. Black composers Harry Berkeley and R. Nathaniel Dent created a new repertoire for the concert stage by applying their Western classical education to the spirituals, while the spirituals were created by a circumscribed communities of people in bondage. Over time, they became known as the first signature music of the United States.